everybody for joining. This is the ninth session of AI Action powered by Flightbase. Today, we are joined by Kaushal Kulkarni from our BD team. And as all of you must have obviously seen in the invitations as well, Kaushal is very excitingly presenting how he built an entire CRM customed and tailored to his workflows at Flightbase without any engineers needed. So, welcome aboard Kaushal.
Kanchi, thank you for covering all the news and having me inviting me for this session. So I'm really excited for today's session because I get to talk about what we get to do at Flightbase around business development and also how we're sort of thinking AI native and trying to solve for a challenging problem that we've had for quite a while. So what I'll do is I'll first share my screen. I'll set up the problem statement and I'll talk about the approach that I took to solve it. And in that approach, I will cover a few hacks that I discovered along the way. And I really hope that some of you can resonate with it and maybe you can try it out and let me know how it works for you. Kanchi mentioned that we are trying to build a CRM the AI native way. I'll maybe dig a little more deeper into that. We're trying to streamline our partner go-to-market strategy the AI native way. So maybe before I set up the problem statement, a little bit about how we do business development at Flightbase, what our go-to-market strategy is. So firstly, we sell subscriptions of an enterprise drone autonomy software platform. So these are cloud-based subscriptions for the most part that help operators fly their drones remotely. The way the software is distributed is primarily as a SaaS offering. We have an on-premises deployment option, but for the purpose of most of our transactions, these are SaaS offerings that integrate with a drone in a box technology. So these are docking stations from which a drone can fly in and fly out. So the way we go to market is through our channels. So we have over 40 plus global partners across 7 different regions. These are resellers of Flightbase. They're also resellers of the hardware. So when the hardware gets shipped to a customer, the reseller also bundles it with Flightbase, which is the SaaS offering. And that way we're able to generate revenue for the organization. There are multiple tiers to this structure. So there's an OEM, that's Flightbase. There's a master distributor. The master distributors have sub-dealers, so resellers, and also solution providers who are system integrators. We won't get into the nuance of all of these items, but overall, the takeaway is we are a subscription, and the way we distribute it is through channels. The benefit of this, we all understand. Distribution is the next moat, a lot of people say, but the challenge is, or the biggest challenge is the overhead, the go-to-market overhead that we have. So because we are not all the time working directly with the end users, we have a lack of visibility on the pipeline that we have. So a lot of these partners, they're going into the market, they're generating leads, but they are not necessarily all the time sharing them with us in real time. They don't have a way to share these leads or all of these leads with us when they get them. So there is a lack of visibility on what kind of opportunities exist. The second problem statement is fractured communication. So there is no consistent communication across all partners. We're doing this via emails, we run campaigns, but we are not sure if it percolates all the time effectively. The next problem statement is that because of the lack of communication and the visibility on deals, which we are not able to enable for our partners, the partners tend to choose the easy way out, which is sometimes position the OEMs, position our competing software. So, there is a sort of a slippage or a leak in the funnel as well, because we are not able to capture those leads at the start of the cycle. And the way we try to solve this, or we used to solve initially, is by having sheets. So there were multiple sheets. Imagine 40 sheets where every partner has access to the sheet and they're entering all their leads. It was very disconnected, big overhead, didn't work all the time. So to solve for these challenges, in the traditional era, you've always had, CRMs. You can always buy these fancy CRMs for partners, so PRM sort of solutions by Salesforce, Zoho CRM. There are multiple out there. The challenge with this is there's a huge, cost associated with it. There is a big dependency on consultants. So you're working with a consultant, so you're sharing your vision with them, and then they're trying to conform a fully baked product to your requirements, which takes a lot of time, right? And the next option is to build this portal. Um, to build this portal, you need to work with the internal teams, you need to work with PMs, developers, you need to communicate the vision with them, the problem statement with them. Then they come up with a PRD, they being the product managers, then they communicate it with developers. Big cycle, big overhead. Because of this, the relative prioritization of a good to have feature, this is a good to have product within a product organization, gets relatively lower priority. And then even the communication gap between multiple stakeholders, I'm the user, I know the pain point, but then communicating it across the chain makes it tough. So if we were to do this the non-AI way, which is building a portal, or a portal that helps us capture all these leads and work on these leads in real time, it takes a lot of time, takes a lot of money, and the efficiency of the outcome is low. So the idea always gets dropped. I actually missed an important point. The solution to these problem statements that a lot of organizations have already established is a unified partner portal. So there is a portal where partners can come and register their leads. They get access to all the collaterals. They get access to communication from flight base, so on and so forth. Right. So if we were to do this the non-AI way, it takes a lot of time, money, efficiency is low, so it gets dropped. What's changed? We picked this up in 2023, 2024. The idea always got dropped. But in 2025, about a lot of things changed, right? AI picked up. We've been attending these sessions. We know what's happening. My take, and a lot of people have spoken about this, is the bridge between ideation and implementation is reduced significantly. So now, the traditional way, there was a PM, there was a developer, there were multiple people. Now with the help of AI, if I have an idea, which I already do, I have a pain point, I'm able to implement it immediately. So today I'm going to share a story in the next 15 odd minutes of a business developer who tried to build. All right. So let me take you through my journey. What I'm going to share is just a sort of a step-by-step approach of how I took up the initiative of building this partner portal, or a CRM for partners. So the first point, and I think a lot of people have covered this in previous sessions, is an LLM is a great brainstorming partner, right? So we first brainstorm with an LLM. The first step that I took was to define the problem statement. So defining the problem statement in a crisp manner is very important. What I did was I used ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has the audio feature. So you can just talk to ChatGPT, define all the pain points that you have, and that gets captured, and then you can properly draft that, and you can document the problem statement very effectively. So once that was done, I'll maybe very quickly show you, different problem statements. So what are the challenges that uh, exist in the current model? What are the goals of the partnership model, etc. So these were all documented using ChatGPT and also Perplexity that I use. So you can use multiple such tools. Once you've documented the problem statement, one really good hack or important thing that really worked for me was asking open-ended questions to the LLM with the problem statement. So I am not jumping to the solution. I am not giving the LLM the solution. Rather, I work with the LLM, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you would want to use, to ask open-ended questions uh, with the LLM having access to the problem statement. Now, once you have asked an open-ended question, you are able to sort of brainstorm with the LLM, and then you capture the context that makes sense for you. Maybe I'll quickly show you. So what I use is I use primarily Claude, and in a project called Flight Based Revamp Partner Portal, I have multiple project files that I've added. So this also has, this is loading up. It also has the problem statement that I initially defined. And as I am, you know, talking to Claude, I ask quite a lot of open-ended questions stating, things like, ask me questions, like this really works for me. Ask me questions that will help you get clarity, right? So Claude itself, I'm not able to find the chat, sorry, but Claude itself asks me questions that I'm able to answer. And then that those questions are very open-ended, and I'm also answering based on my problem statements and a rough expectation. So um, the outcome is that you get a lot of different ideas. And now once you get these ideas, you capture that context in a document form, and then you add that to project files. Now, once you have these project files, this project file acts as an anchor, and you're able to iterate with the project files to come up with the final outcome, which I came out with, was to define a solid PRD, which captures your problem statement and desired outcomes. Okay. Um, I actually wish to share my entire screen at this point because I would want to show you the PRD, but I'll maybe do that in the end. I'll just take you through this narrative. But it's very important to also show you the outcome that I got from the brainstorming, which I'll do in the end. So, of this iteration cycle that you have, right? You define the problem statement, document it, brainstorm, it capture the context, add that to project files, and iterate. You're able to come up with a solid PRD, which now you need to go through, which I went through, and I was happy with the problem statement and the desired outcomes in terms of features and different goals. Great. Now, how do I build? I have the PRD. I have defined it for myself. I'm happy. I don't know. Ask Claude. How do you build? You just ask the LLM how to build, and the LLM will tell you. So, Claude, what is the best way to build this partner portal? Right. Um, the best way. So, what I did personally, I took the PRD and I asked Claude to break down the scope, break down the entire scope of what I want to build. And I took the scope, which I also would like to share my screen and show. This scope had more technical nuance on how the backend will look like. So when I asked Claude, Claude told me, okay, you need to define how the front end will look like. What are the, what kind of user interactions you want? What would the backend structure look like? What is the business logic? So I, as a business developer, I didn't necessarily, I've never built before, I've never developed before, right? So these thoughts or these concepts are not alien to me. I work in technology sales, but I've never really participated in it. So I asked Claude, hey, how do you define a backend? What does a what does a business logic mean? And I just asked Claude, hey Claude, ask me questions that will help you get the answer. And then Claude asked me, okay, what is the business relationship between a master distributor and a reseller? How does the margin structure look like? What information do you capture for a user? What kind of products do you have? Now these answers I have, as a business developer, I know the business logic and I was able to define that. And with the help of Claude, I was able to capture that in a technical specification document. So I have the PRD now and I have the tech spec document. Now once I have that, we've covered this quite a lot, is we've explored AI native tools to build. You have quite a few. You have Lovable, Versal, you have Bold. I personally like Lovable quite a lot. Um, the reason is the UI is pretty good, and one feature that I've really come to like is the knowledge base setting in Lovable. So what you can do, and this is actually a hack that I discovered along the way, is the PRD that we had defined. So this is the PRD that we had defined. The goals of the PRD, the scope of the PRD, etc., and the tech spec document. These are huge documents. There's a lot of context captured in this, which is verified by me. I pasted it into the knowledge base of Claude, sorry, of Lovable. And now Lovable has all the context it needs to start building. So the prompts that I need to give. So if for those of you who don't know Lovable, with Lovable you can prompt and get get Lovable to build the partner portal that you or whatever product you want to desire. So the prompts that I had to give to Lovable with because of the knowledge base were very basic, because now Lovable had the entire context of what I want to build, right? So this that's why I like Lovable. So one of the hacks to remember, hacks in blue, is that Lovable has a knowledge base which helps you retain context. And this is a new feature actually. This has come out, I would say, a month back. Before that, I had tried the same process and I had failed twice, because I had first not used Claude. I had not used the brainstorming tool, the LLM tool, to come up with a scope, to define the problem statement. So a lot of these steps that I've listed here, I had not performed and I had failed because of that. And one of the items was the prompting that I was doing to Lovable. And because of the knowledge base that I'm adding to Lovable, the prompting is becoming easy. I just need to mention, hey, what do you think I should do next? And because Lovable has all the context, you're good to go, right? Um, One more way is that you break down the scope. So the entire scope Lovable has. Lovable also has a chat mode. So maybe this is also a new feature. You can actually chat with Lovable to sort of, maybe I can actually even do that. Hey, what all am I left with based on the context that I shared? So we will let Lovable come up with the answer to that. But what I wish to share is you can break down the entire scope in prompts using Lovable itself, and you can add relevant context whenever required, and then you can essentially uh, have Lovable build it. So you're building with Lovable now, and you're using Lovable to sort of come up with the prompts as well. One big disclaimer, right? And this is a big problem. You will fail. I did too. I failed like 3, 4 times. This is probably my fifth iteration, and it's been frustrating. And one thing that you need to know is, because I failed so many times, I was able to come up with these blue hacks, right? These blue hacks have come along the way, and you know, that's been the learning that probably I myself have come up with, or I've also been listening to these sessions of people like Prathamesh, people from Flightbase talking, and learning from them. So I failed, and you will do too, right? So when you fail, it's important to be cognizant that it is most probably you. And don't take this the wrong way. It is tough to digest that, hey, how can I be wrong? AI, it's so easy to blame AI when things go wrong. But when some things go wrong, first question your process, revisit your context, revisit your problem statement, proofread it, revisit your prompts, proofread them, and ensure that you're doing good quality assurance, right? Just make sure that you're going through every piece of context that you're giving the LLM or Lovable. Uh, One hack is also that you can use another. So because Claude has all the context files for my project, Grok does not have that. So Grok does not have a lot of context. Grok is another LLM. You can use ChatGPT. What I've done is, whatever ideas I get, I give it to Grok without context. And now, because it does not have a lot of baggage, Grok is able to give me a few better ideas, or maybe do better QA on prompts on a few, or maybe the problem statement itself. And then you can take the feedback, synthesize that, and give it back to Claude. And then Claude goes, oh, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about it. So you can use another LLM to do your QA as well. Right. So, how to fail fast? That's something that I want to cover in the last 2, 3 minutes. And this is, I think, one of the biggest learnings is organize your prompts. You can always backtrack your progress if you're able to visualize your prompting journey. I use Obsidian. It's a PKM. a personal knowledge management tool. When you're going ahead with building a complex sort of a platform such as a partner portal using tools such as Lovable or Claude, there will be a lot of iterations that you will have throughout the development process. In that, one of the biggest pain points I had was organizing my prompts and visualizing my development journey. So what I am using to do that is Obsidian. So Obsidian is a note-taking tool. It's a PKM. There are multiple, uh, you know, features that this tool has. But the primary use case for which I'm using this tool is to link notes and form thoughts. So here you can see I have a particular note, and I'll explain what that is. But I'm able to link it with a chain of thought, and if I'm going wrong in the entire development cycle, I can backtrack to the original source of where I started from, and then I can reiterate. So that's where it helped me a lot. So I'll just quickly share my breakdown of how I use Obsidian. So here you can see in the partner portal, I have multiple prompts that I've used for different activities. Now I have multiple prompts for UI UX. I have prompts for my second iteration that I did, prompts for product. Playwright is a tool to do user testing, and of course Lovable. Now you see there are multiple prompts that I've used throughout the journey, but the order of these prompts is not clear. So that's where I use the canvas feature on Obsidian to essentially link notes. So here, after brainstorming with Claude, you must have seen in the previous session, I came up with a PRD. So this is the master PRD that I want. I'm very happy with this. This is what I want to build. Now, as part of the first iteration, I what I did was I took a UI UX prompt, took the PRD as a context, and then built a implementation plan. Then with the implementation plan, I gave a prompt to Claude to Claude, sorry, prompt to Claude to build prompts for Lovable. And here I use multiple prompts on Lovable. You can see, to then build the product. And then I use a prompt to document, using Lovable, document the progress that I've made. So here is the prompt that I use for documentation. And then this is the documentation that I got from the first iteration. I took feedback from Grok to critique the development that Lovable has done. And then I generated a prompt to modify the front end. And that's where I came with the second iteration, V1.2 of the partner portal. And then I documented that, and here is the documentation. Then I built lovable test cases. I also experimented with Playwright test cases. So I wrote a prompt for Playwright MCP on Claude to test the partner portal that I built. And the point is, I'm not going to get into too many specifics here. Even though I'm talking about the first iteration I did about a month back, despite having done it a month back, now I can revisit my development journey and backtrack all my prompts and understand how I went about with my development journey. Similarly, now this sort of, I've color coded it. Orange is where I sort of uh, still would want to continue this thread, but it's not working out very well for me right now. With the second iteration, what I did is I took a subset of the MVP. And with that MVP, I have sort of started building the backend. This is the second iteration. Now I'm going to continue on this thread of the MVP. And based on, say, the documentation of what is built here, I can do a difference between what I built with this thread, or what the expectation of this thread was with this thread, and then I can merge these two threads. Overall, this tool gives you a lot of flexibility to organize your thoughts, organize your prompts, and visualize your development journey. Um, for example, there was also a thread that I took for UX test cases with the help of Grok, and it didn't really capture the context from the front end documentation. So this failed. But here you can see I still have the documentation of what all I did and what worked, what didn't work. So overall, the takeaway is these projects are possible. They are not easy, but they, as a singular entity or a single person can take up these projects and get them to conclusion. But staying organized with your prompts really helps you iterate faster and learn from your mistakes. So that's what I wanted to share with this video. Thank you so much for your time.